guys is never short. It's time to sit down and let the Degens cook. That's right. You know they're coming through and hitting heavy. It's time to talk some Dynasty and talk some Debbie. My guys is never short. Time to sit down and let the Degens cook. Ow!
Hello, welcome to Dynasty Degens episode 19. Today we are doing a shift. So we just had Debbie Degens pop their second episode this week. Doing a lot of, reaction to week one, doing player evaluations, all that good stuff. So this podcast is going to be shifting more to the Dynasty side. And this is going to be a nice segue episode. We're going to be talking about the 24 class, talking about what we think is going to happen, where they're going to go, the shifts, the sleepers, all that good stuff. Before we get into that, I want to introduce, as always, my boy, Jagger, Fantasy Blue Chip on Twitter. Jagger, how you doing tonight?
Really good, man. Really good. I'm, like I said, as someone who loves talking rookies at all times, I'm already looking at the 24 class. So I think it's relevant to Dynasty regardless of what goes on to Debbie, because you need to know where your draft picks that you're buying are going to look like,
Yeah. And especially if you're not into Dev, you're not in the C2C, this is beneficial because you're already getting a heads up on, your draft picks, where you're going to go. You're just getting a head start on the scouting process. If you don't actually do that yourself, if you're not a film guy, not into analytics, you can just listen to guys. And that's what I did for years until I said, these guys are always wrong. I want to be right. So I just started doing stuff myself. That's how I got into content creation in the beginning. Cause I was like, man, I gotta put my takes out because I can't just take other people's opinions anymore. It's not really helping me out a lot. So not that my opinions always help me out either, but that's a different story. But let's get into our guest. So our guest tonight, you can catch him on Toilets to Titles, the CFB Nation. I just watched their show last night. They do reaction Mondays. Yep. Yesterday was Monday. It was Reaction Mondays. And it's a great show, man. I love this guy. He is from my home area and he's got a lot of energy. I love him on the Twitter sphere. I love what he brings to the table. This is going to be Nino Brown at Nino Brown _T2T, the thriller from Fall River, Nino Brown. What's up, baby? How you doing?
What's good, my guy, my fellow Massachusetts man. I got Mick Jagger in the corner. I'm gassed for this one.
I was telling everybody in the Discord, I was like, all the crew is in there, and I was like, dude, Nino's gonna come on. He's got a dirty Boston accent. Like his accent is like, it's like if like a New Yorker and a Bostonian like
got
really
drunk
just
and had a
got drunk and had a weird little baby, and that baby grew up, and now it's Nino Brown. That's him.
I'm here.
Yeah. Like Italian Marky Mark almost with the accent.
Yo, I'm Italian and Portuguese mixed together, so I talk with my hands, and I'm super excited.
Yeah.
Knocking the mic all around, all that good stuff. I love it, man. Yeah, you're my people, man. I love having people from the area. I know that you went to the BC game on Saturday. That was kind of a heartbreaker, but being a BC fan this year is going to be a roller coaster, man. Looking at that rollback that he went 37 yards or whatever. And
Castellanos pulled his Madden tricks out of his bag, bro. Rolled back 25 yards.
That was
juke two defenders, chucks it downfield to Lewis Bond for a first down. I'm excited for it, but man, that was rough because when you're making a QB switch in the first quarter, it's always like, uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, not that was a bad move, but it's also kind of alarming as a fan. But we're gonna have to go see a game together, man. Go out there.
I'm down. Let me know. I got you.
I know you're out there for 8 games this year. So, yeah, let's get to it though. I know that our icebreaker is going to be you just talking, because I asked you what your favorite show was, and it's anime. I mean, maybe Jagger actually is into this. I know Jagger watches anime. I do. I used to. I haven't really got into. I'm more of like a bluey, like Blippy kind of guy now with the kids. And,
Me too. I got 3 of them. Two
Yeah.
are turning 5 tomorrow, and I got a 1.5-year-old. So it's Bluey, it's Peppa Pig. Every once in a while, I get Spidey. But my wife put me onto this show, and now I'm sucked into it. Just I go down
Yeah.
the rabbit hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so what we do is we talk about somebody's favorite show, and then we talk about the character from that show and who they think is going to be like a successful fantasy manager. So tell everybody what your favorite show is, and then maybe Jagger's going to connect on that, and then you guys can go off. I hope.
All right. So I went down this rabbit hole. You know, you put a show on, right? Like, I just watch one before I go to bed. Next thing you know, they're asking you still watching? You're 6 episodes in. It's called One Piece on Netflix. And for me, it's Monkey D, right? He's a guy. He bit the special fruit, and he got like he gained a special quality. He's got stretchability, right? And he's never out of any situation. He gets stronger as the journey continues. So for me, as a fantasy manager, you never want to be counted out. And sometimes you got to stretch that lineup any way possible to catch that dub. So give me Monkey D, bro. That's me.
Monkey D. Jagger, are you familiar with the show at all?
Oh yeah, I have a lot of opinions about One Piece, but I'm a massive anime fan, and all of it is that like it's like way too long. Like I'm actually gonna watch. I'm gonna watch the live action because I'm like hell yeah, maybe they've reduced this down a smidge, and they might not have. I don't know, but like it's way long. So like I do know. What's weird is I dress like Monkey D. Luffy. I got these rice hats over there.
You got the straw hats?
I have a straw hat over there. That's like kind of Monkey D. Luffy. Like right now, I'm wearing a poncho. This isn't even a real hoodie and stuff like that. Like that's how I dress. Is like straw hat.
Swagooey, bro. Swagooey.
Exactly.
I love it. Hey, listen, Monkey. When I started watching the show, this dude had a straw hat on. He's in a little dingy boat, right? After he just executed some dude, and he's chugging water out because the hole in the boat keeps getting worse. Next thing I know, he's eating a fruit. He's got stretchabilities, and he's fighting all these dudes, and he's winning. He's finding a way to win. And I'm
wait. I did see a clip of this. I actually know what you're talking about. So there was a lot of backlash about this show that they made the live action, and it's they made it with like no Japanese people. It was just a bunch of like
no anime at all, nothing.
Yeah, they just like butchered it, and it's really like I heard it was badly done. I mean, maybe that's just opinion based, obviously, but
it is. It depends on where you read. Yeah, there's no like. It's kind of like fantasy, to be honest, with the anime community. There's no middle ground. They either hate it, they hate the shit out of it, or they really like it. You know?
It was like last year. Either you loved Damian Pierce or you hated him. Unfortunately, I was on the wrong side of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was too, actually. So I'm with you on that. I still think that he's going to get caught up in the whole. But I mean, at this point in time, DC gets thrown out the window because who else is Singletary?
My thing was he never rushed for close to 200 attempts. Okay. Now, my problem was it because of Florida or was it because he didn't have it in the tank? Right. But then as I start to see in the NFL, who gives a shit? You're just a dude. You're a number to them. Right. So they're just going to run you into the ground. If you ain't the first 10 picks, they don't care about you. You're just a small investment. You're going to give me 200 carries till your knees blow out. I'm going to pound it down the throat until you're no good. And then we'll go with the next guy.
Yeah. And especially nowadays with the NFL, they don't care, man. They're going to beat you up, dude. Josh Jacobs is going to get like 400 carries this year. Like they're just going to like destroy that man. And then they're just going to throw him out in the trash. Like they're just going to say, hey, yeah.
And they're going to do the same thing to Zaman White the following season when he comes in. It's the same thing they did to him in Georgia. Just bang the rock for 3 years. When your legs are no good no more, we'll go get somebody else for cheap money.
Yeah, and that's it, man. You're expendable. You're a bartender. You're a service industry employee at that point in time.
Running backs are the new linebackers, bro.
Yeah,
3 years. See you later.
It's ugly, but it's the sad truth.
CTE.
Yeah, gotta get them soft shells, baby.
Dude. Yeah. Well, yeah, man. After that CTE talk, let's dive into this right now. Before we get into this, the whole 24 class and all that good stuff, like tell me how you got into this in the first place. How'd you get into content creation? How'd you jump into the space? You know, what got you started? Like, when did you start playing fantasy? Like where did that all begin? Like in the womb or like, where was it?
I'm old. I look
you're
young.
Not that
I'm
old.
42. All right. I'm 42.
Yeah, I'm 36, so you're not that. You're like we're close.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
when I
like
started playing fantasy,
you were
and
buying
I'm
me
full-
you were buying me booze when I was in middle school. I think
yeah,
at some point, in time, right?
you know,
That's the difference right there.
exactly. But like when I started fantasy, and no bullshit, like Yahoo just existed. Like I was going literally on Monday morning getting the paper and getting the stats out of the paper. The first, like it sucked, and I was the commissioner. I'm like, I ain't doing this no more. And then what? The next year, came down from the heavens. Yahoo fantasy football for your pleasure. Click me and enjoy. And I was all in, dude. I waited for the AOL noise to go in and sign me into Yahoo. I want to play fantasy. But I've been doing it for like 2 years now. I got like you, right? I just got tired of taking everybody's advice and being wrong. Well, I could be wrong, but at least if I'm wrong, it's on me. I wasn't wrong off someone else's advice. And I felt like sometimes I was a little bit more on the right side than the guys that were telling me what to do. And I had a different, side of the story. So I got asked to go on a Toads Titles mock draft. They put something out there. I went on there and I got energy, dude. You guys know that. I was just talking shit pretty much to people that making picks. Like, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, and just breaking it down. And coach hit me up the next day. He's like, yo, if you're ever interested in like doing something like that, I'm like, I don't know, man. Yesterday I was on the couch doing this shit with you. I don't know. I don't even have a mic. What do you want me to do? And here we are 2 years later. Got myself a little studio in the house and we're doing something. We're cooking.
Nice.
Yeah. I love the energy that you bring to podcasts, to whatever you do. People, we need that. You're not even, I wouldn't even call you a hype man because you bring a lot of content, you bring a lot of takes, you bring a lot of actionable advice, and that's great. But like to have that stuff, usually it's somebody that's boring as hell that can bring you the content, that can give you the numbers, that can bring you back like all the stats, and you like have the personality to go along with all that stuff too, which is great. I think you are underfollowed on Twitter. I think people aren't onto what you're doing right now. So I think they need to be getting on to what you're doing. So if you're not following Nino Brown brother, drop your handle because you got underscores and you got T2T in there and stuff.
It's at Nino Brown _T2T. And it's you can find me at the CFB Nation or at Toads the Titles. That's where I am. And I got 7 shows, man. So I'm on almost every day. I do IDP. I do college. College is my lane. Fantasy is where I started, but college is my lane, man. I'm watching tape on high school kids. So
yeah,
I'm a sicko. I got no life. I got my family, my kids, and then I get like a couple hours at night, and I just dive into football.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's exactly how I feel. I know you're crazy busy right now, Jagger. You're doing a lot of stuff. Jagger just started the video stuff for the football guys. So he's watching all their pods and he's breaking down all their videos and doing clips and all that stuff. So, I mean, I know you guys are both grinding, but you said that your favorite leagues are college football. I was going to ask you what your favorite types of leagues were to get into. Like where
Dynasty. Give me Dynasty.
Like if you just straight Dynasty, like you're playing Dynasty, just like
or a regular Dynasty or C2C. I'm in a league with Shane Hallam where it's like it's called the Devi Pinnacle Devi, and we going back like we just drafted. I don't know, it was like 12 of us. It was like 100 and some people drafted. We would draft. The dude I took over the team for, dude had already drafted Julian Lewis 2 years ago. So like, what you want to talk C2C? We're going to like you're getting out of 8th grade, and these guys are scouting. So this league's crazy. So I like the college side. Give me that little Devi aspect, 1 or 2 years. But you want me locked in for fantasy? It's Dynasty. Give me the long run.
Same.
Yeah. So go ahead, buddy.
I was gonna say that like that's where I'm at with it is like you just said, I'm like super busy, like including this one. I have like 4 of my other shows that I do, and I work in radio. That's like my day job. It's like radio. So I do stuff like all the time.
Are you a voice on radio? Like
not yet. Yeah, not yet. I just do producer now. I gotta earn my wings. So,
you're about to be the Michael Jackson of sports radio. You got that criminal voice, baby.
They want you to smoke like 3 packs before you get in there too. So
yeah, like Howard Stern.
You want a little rasp. You want that phlegm going.
Yeah, exactly. Like start cigarettes now, and I'm gonna be sounding like Larry King by the Super Bowl, baby.
Yeah.
Like
you want to sound like the Simpsons sisters there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey man, I love the intro. I love getting into it. Let's talk players. Let's talk about the 24 class. This pod is all about the 24 class. Like I said before, we're going to talk about, where we have them. It's almost like a little mock draft. I was going to do an actual mock draft, but shout out to Fantasy Tracks, not really doing what they're supposed to do, and we're actually creating mocks. So right now we're just doing it the old school way. We're reading off paper, and I got all the guys' rankings over here. We're going to talk about it. So 101 for everybody, I assume, is going to be Caleb Williams. Yeah.
Yes.
Head nods.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's not even a question. Sorry, I didn't think you needed an answer.
I didn't think you would look at that. It was just a general question out there. I think you want an answer.
I just wanted like the 24 people that watch the pod live or watch the pod on the video actually like see the head nod.
Yes.
But yeah, so we talked backstage a lot about Caleb already. We talked about what we're going to do. There's not going to be a lot of coverage when it comes to this player, but ultimately we know where he's going. He could actually be pretty mediocre this year and he's still going to be the 101. Like I think there's not going to be a lot of slippage when it comes to it. Maybe if he does have a down year, which I don't, since what we watched in the last game, there's no way that he's going to have a down year. Because he is Caleb Williams and he's doing Caleb Williams stuff. He's a magician on the field. He does a lot of crazy moves and he's got the arm and everything. He's the full package. But like I said, we know where he's going in the drafts. Where do we have him in a tier right now? And then where do we have him going as the 101 next year? So right now, like, for instance, Nino, where do you have him stacking up to NFL players currently?
He'd probably be at the back end of tier 2 now.
So like where I think we talked about it, like where
behind like Herbert and them guys, like not in that bracket, but right outside that bracket. And then
like where like T-Law and Fields are, maybe.
Yes,
like
yes. I'd have Fields back maybe one notch. I'd probably put him in the T-Law. Yeah, probably T-Law and Caleb in their own little nook. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could, like right now, I think I have him ahead of Fields just because he can do everything that Fields can do on the ground.
Can't throw.
And I mean, that's yet to be determined. But
we haven't seen it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we haven't seen it, but Caleb Williams is already way ahead of where Fields was. He's way ahead. And like to be honest, like I think he might be ahead of like as far as fantasy. Like if we're thinking like in the vacuum of fantasy, you almost got to put him ahead of Lawrence because of that rushing upside. As far as like actual talents, I'm still have Trevor Lawrence ahead. So depending on if you think that Trevor Lawrence, like to be honest, in this range, I'm happy to get any of the three. I'm happy to get any of the three, but that's where they're at for me. So
I'm right with Diego. I agree 100%.
Yeah, I'm a big Fields guy as far as what I think they're gonna do for that guy in the NFL. I think they're building around him. They're gonna slowly but surely try to do the whole Philadelphia Hurts thing. We did talk about this. We had LQ on the pod a couple weeks ago. We talked about how they're kind of doing like a bootleg Philadelphia build where it's like we're not getting, but they could easily get like a top tier wide receiver in the draft or somebody in a trade next year, and they have almost essentially the same build, like without the extremely good offensive line, but like they're getting in that same kind of trajectory as far as what they're going to try to do. I would take Caleb over him all day. I would take him over T-Law. I would take him over Lamar. Like I think I would, and that's spicy. I think maybe based off of it's not a recency bias take for me. I just think that Lamar is going to smash this year, but Caleb in 2 years, I think could match that production and then eventually go past him. So I'm looking at a 3-year window, and I think I would take 3 years of Caleb over 3 years of Lamar. Is that how you feel?
I can see where you're coming from. Okay. Because Lamar hasn't played a full season in what, 2 years now? Like he's going through a little bit of an injury skid, but he's never had weapons like he's had. He's never
Oh
had
yeah,
an OC in Monken ever, which is the huge, that's the X factor is Monken. Listen, Lamar's better at running the ball than Caleb. And I know Caleb's super athletic and mobile, but Lamar is him when it comes to being mobile. He's probably the best mobile QB since Vic, right?
Yep.
But Caleb's arm, I think, is better than Lamar. Lamar might be a little stronger, but Caleb's more accurate. Caleb can read a defense and adjust at the line, I think, a little bit better than Lamar can. And I think Caleb can go through the progressions a lot faster.
yes,
Lamar's kind of knows he's got that hot route off the rip. And if that's not there, then he'll go through. There's no hot route for Caleb. Caleb knows the play, knows where he's going to be, and he's just going until he finds the guy that's open.
Well, it's easily like I'm not one that thinks that like Mar can't throw, but Caleb Williams, he like to use scouting terms, he has a live arm. He can push the ball down the field. He put a lot of zip on it. He can just do like if we're using Madden ratings, every passing stat, I think Caleb Williams is better than Lamar. But Lamar has got the rushing factor. He's got it's not, again, we're talking about two incredibly good football players, but Caleb, again, he's just got that arm.
Yeah, and if you're talking dynasty, I can understand why you're saying, Caleb over Lamar. You got the 3 years. Lamar's already had a big injuries. He had a couple years of it. He's been in the league a few years. So I understand where you're coming from. It's just, I think, like you said, I think Lamar pops this year. It might be back to the MVP status. And then you're going to get those people coming at you, coming for receipts.
Yeah, no doubt. I like that though. I like you coming for me because I think Lamar is going to have quite the year. I think he's going to climb back to where he was maybe 2 years ago, where he was like close to the 101. I think Lamar 2 years ago was 102, 103 range. He could easily he might even be able to jump Hurts if he does what I think he might do, stay healthy the whole year. And, they're just going to air raid it. I think that, with Dobbins fully healthy, they actually have a run game this year. I think he's set up for success. So I think it's going to be, regardless, I think Hurts and Lamar are going to go back to back next year. And I think we're talking, Caleb is going to be right there. So he's going to be like either right behind Lamar or right in front of Lamar.
They're going to be saddled in that little package together. Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to be like right there. So I'm excited to see this year play out and all that good stuff. But
today's news could change the dynasty, script, because Kelsey's going to be dealing with this thing all year. And that's Mahomes' number one weapon, right? So could we possibly, this is when you're going to see the real Mahomes, right? He's going to have to find a new guy. He's going to have to spread the ball around. It's going to be falling on his lap. Can he be steady Eddie and be the Mahomes we've seen, or does he take some aggression this year? We'll have to see. If he does, and Hurts keeps pushing on that train, and Lamar comes back to form, and Herbert with another weapon takes that next step, now we're looking at a crowded top tier.
Yeah, and I love that because I knew that Herbert was going to have a bounce back. He's going to be set up with that. The new offensive coordinator, he's going to be in a good spot for that. So where I was, if we're going to get into this, I have Josh Allen taking a little bit of a step back this year. I have him maybe stepping away from the rushing that boosts his value so much. Like if we see possibly a cut in those rushing touchdowns, Hurts is already above him if Hurts plays a full season last year, like production wise. You know what I mean? Like if Hurts didn't get hurt the last 2 games of the season in the fantasy, he outproduces Josh Allen. Easy. And then who knows if Josh Allen even goes in front of Hurts. I haven't seen it. I've seen him flip-flop. Personally, I've seen them go back and forth in drafts, in startups specifically. But I think that with Damian Harris, they're looking for somebody that can actually work the goal line. I don't know, man. I think he's going to take a step back with his rushing touchdowns. I think Damian Harris is going to be that goal line back. And I think we're going to see that value swing a little bit as Jagger's cat goes crazy in the background. And I think Hurts is going to jump Josh Allen this year.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with Hurts jumping Josh Allen. My problem is, and I'm going to ask Jager, for his backup is Josh Allen's been said that he's going to do this every year for the past 3 years, right? He's going to take a step back in the run game. He's going to not take as many hits. And it seems as though every year he kind of goes forward with more running and more goal line carries. You see the sign behind me. I watch Patriots every year for the last 25 years. Yeah, Damian Harris is going to eat on the goal line if he can stay healthy. No, who can stay healthy at the goal line? Josh Allen.
Yeah, you're not wrong,
See,
man.
yeah.
You know?
It's like I'm a Pats fan too, and I'm kind of all in on Damian Harris at cost, But it's like you said, yeah. It's like how healthy can he be? And like to me, this is the sign that they're trying to get him off the goal line, because like I never bought it the first couple of years, because I'm like, okay, well, get someone else other than James Cook and Devin Singletary, then we'll talk. Now that they got Damian Harris, like maybe I'm willing to believe it, but like kind of like you said, I never really. Like Damian Harris has only been healthy like one season, like essentially, and then it's been on and off the field for like every other week,
Yes. Yes. And the other thing is, what did he sign? A $1.5 million contract with Buffalo? Like New England needs backs, right? It was a cheap deal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I don't know the specifics. I don't know if somebody can fire.
I think it's on the $2 million per year. Like New England needs backs. They need goal line backs, right? Because they need to help Stevenson take the load off. This dude's not going to make the whole year. You didn't want to sign him? That's a neon sign to me. So Buffalo took New England's trash pretty much. If you look at it, like Belichick really doesn't know. It knows when to kind of come off guys.
To be fair, like Belichick does cut guys when they're not quite dead yet, but he does hit on his running backs. Like he hits on those guys all the time. You know what I mean? Like the Sony Michels and
Corey Dillon,
like that, Corey Dillon. Yeah. Like those guys, he gets them like a year before they're really just like dust, So I think that they're going to use him differently too. Like I guess last year he wasn't really like workhorse back by any means, but he did open up as like the lead back, and I don't think they're gonna. Yeah, no, but like even last year they were like, oh, like he ran out. Rom was a kind of a side piece for the first 2-3 games of the season. Yeah,
but then it was Stevenson's season.
Yeah, and then he took it over. I knew that was going to happen, but I don't know, man. If they only need to use them in short yardage, and you're right, it's all health dependent, and it's all like, dude, I've been preaching this for a year and a half now. So I was in on this last year too. But
here's my thing: who you trusting? And Jay go back up. Who you trusting on the goal line? Damian Harris or Josh Allen? I'm going Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Yeah. I will absolutely take Josh Allen, but I don't know if they're going to make a concerted effort to protect Josh Allen. And I don't think they can even do that. You know what I mean?
They got two big tight ends, right? They're going to line up Kincaid on one side and Knox on the other, right? And you put two wide receivers, one on each end, and you spread the field. My man's going to be running through stop and shop alleys. He's just going to be going right up the gut, picking whatever cereal and Coca-Cola products he wants, putting in the cart and going in for a touchdown. Like, they got the Buffalo. People are not sleeping on it, but they got the weapons that they needed to excel Allen. Spread the field a little bit more. Give him a little bit more time where he can maneuver in the pocket, extend plays. And if he's extending the play, these guys are out there. You can't cover everybody and spy on him. He's going to run, man. He ain't. There's going to be no decline in his rushing stats, I think, this year at all.
Oh, man. All right.
And not to, I know we got to like keep talking about the 24 class, but like my last point, I've been sitting here trying to think who the Bills RB3 it was the entire time. Like, I do not know who it is whatsoever. So I'm just thinking, like, if Damian Harris, like, does go down, like, it's Josh Allen, like that's kind of it,
Yeah.
Man, I'm the outlier over here. I think he's going to slip a little bit. I think he's going to slip in his rushing, and I think that Fields is going to jump him, and we're talking maybe Lamar is going to be in there too. I don't know, but hey, I let's move it on. We're going to just cut it.
I'm ready.
We're going to cut it out. Yeah. So 2, we already differ on 2. So I have Marvin Harrison Jr. at 2. Jagger, who do you have at 2 right now?
I think Marvin Harrison's too, but like it to me, it's Drake May's right there. I think Drake May's an incredible quarterback. I think he reminds me a lot of Justin Herbert. He's another guy that has a live arm, prototypical size, stands tall in the pocket. He's not afraid to put the ball. Like I've seen him turn Josh Downs into like a red zone threat, and Josh Downs is like 5'9", and he will put it like in the spot where only Josh Downs can like reach up and get it. So I really like him. A lot of this to me, at the end of the day, it'll come down to draft capital. But like when I don't know, man, they're both incredible prospects. I'm not going to argue with anyone who has Drake May as their 2 or who has Harrison as their 2. Like ask me tomorrow, and I'll have you a different answer.
Yeah, and Nino has Drake May, and this is a situation where I think you could flip flop. You know what I mean? If you're in a super flex league, you can kind of be fluid with this. Like you can be like, hey, this is like this year people were taking Gibbs over Stroud or whatever. Like if you need a quarterback, take Stroud, man. Like if you need to, but like it's kind of one of those situations where I think he's going to only rise in value, whereas Marvin Harrison Jr. is already where he is. Like he's already like, boom, that's where you are. But Drake May could ball out this year and he could easily jump because he's a quarterback and there's a premium at that position. So it's like, you do have to play into that, and you have to think about the fact that like Drake May, not a lot of like 1-2 back-to-back like top tier quarterbacks in draft classes. It does happen. It's not as frequent as you'd think it would be. Marvin Harrison Jr. is Marvin Harrison Jr. And we could talk about Drake May first and then kind of get into him. But I know that you talked about Drake May a little bit, Jagger. What do you love about Drake May, Nino?
So I was worried, and I said it multiple times on the Angry Blue Bird, now known as X, that I thought May might take a step back because for me, you're losing 2 pieces, right? I know Tez Walker's coming in. Obviously, he's waiting because the NCAA wants to be fools, try to get their hands back in control. Never going to happen. But this is what they do. They do this to Mason Smith. They do this to Walker, and they dangle little things that they can actually do. But he lost Downs. He lost Green. Right? This is the key piece to me. Phil Longo. Okay? Phil Longo just makes offenses put up huge numbers and points. And every receiver going back to Elijah Moore, A.J. Brown, he made those guys at Ole Miss look like studs. Granted, they are studs, but he knows how to get them the ball and how to get the quarterback in that system to work. And May looked good last year, but down the stretch, there was no adjustments. I don't know if that was on Mac Brown, if that was on Drake May. There was no adjustments, and they needed it in the last 2-3 games of the season, and he kind of didn't adjust. Now he was losing the OC. Did we see what he just did to South Carolina? He was cutting them up like a Japanese chef at a sushi bar. He was cutting everybody, that whole defense up. He was throwing balls over the shoulder. He did the same thing that Sammy Hartman did week 1 against Navy. He was throwing balls before wide receivers are out of their releases. He's throwing to a spot. His anticipation was A1, and he's an athletic freak. So yeah, I think Drake May is going to pass Marvin Harrison for this fact. You're about to see a Jackson Smith-Njigba Part 2. That injury that happened last week was Saturday, right? The dude had 6 targets. You're wide receiver 1 in all of college football. You got 6 targets. You got out-targeted by Fleming and Cade Stover, right? With a new QB who you went to prep school with. So if anybody had the rapport with them, was you. And where were you? Chilling, walking around, strutting, not even like you weren't being the dude. Like, I'm not saying he wasn't running routes, but now they had a slow start. What happens if they lose one early, right? I don't know. This injury might be lagging. It might be hanging around. Will he play? Will he not play? Jackson Smith-Njigba knew last year where he was going to go. He knew he was a top 15 pick. He was falling somewhere in there no matter what, right? He didn't play and still fell in that category. Harrison's a better prospect. So can this dude take the whole season off and still be a top 5 pick? It's a possibility.
Yeah. I think he can. Like to me, it's the same thing with Jamar Chase. Like we've seen enough. We've
Yeah.
seen enough, and it's more like NFL teams are probably happy if he got like a minor injury and then milked it on the bench forever. Train train for the NFL. We already know what you can do, and he's going to be like to be honest. I don't know. A lot of this could be coaches speak. Arizona could draft Marvin Harrison Jr. and not take a quarterback, depending if they win too many games or what happens. Like, because I like an offense that has Kyler Murray, Michael Wilson, and Marvin Harrison Jr. Like to me, that sounds pretty good. So
You think
as far
Kyler
as
Murray takes another snap?
I don't hate Kyler Murray. I just think that like people underrate how terrible
Yes.
Cliff Kingsbury is. I think
Listen,
Cliff Kingsbury's a
I'm with
terrible
you.
coach and a
Yeah.
terrible leader of men. And
Yes.
it's easy to point the blame at Kyler Murray. It's super easy.
I'm not blaming Murray. I'm just looking at what the actions have happened so far. You trade a starting offensive tackle, right? You go out and get a dude who they threw a life buoy out to in Josh Dobbs for a playoff hope, right? And now the words are it's Clayton Tune. Buddha wants out. You traded Isaiah Simmons for a bag of Lay's chips. Like, all signs are pointing to tank for Caleb. And people are forgetting that they got Houston's first round pick for the Will Anderson thing. So they're going to have 2 in the top 4, probably guaranteed. You don't think that it's going to be a whole new regime? Because we know what happens. New GMs and new coaches come in and what do they want? Their guys. Man, you could trade Kyler Murray to Minnesota, who's going to need somebody soon, right? Because Cousins don't have much long, for more capital. You could come out of this with 3 first-round draft picks and a whole new style.
You're not wrong. You're probably right.
I'm with you on that. I've already preached that on pods. I've talked about that in detail. That they say what they want to say. They name him a captain. That's all for like the media, man. Like they're talking. I'm gonna name you a captain. Like they don't. That means nothing, man. That means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. I don't think he even touches the field this year. I don't think he even comes back. And if he does come back, it's going to be like tail end of the season, and they're just going to like show that he's still got it. Like he's back, and he's going to be like, hey, like this is what Kyler still has. He's an easy piece to sell.
That's scary because look at you say this stuff. He comes back. They're saying now week 8 would be his kind of like expected date back, good to go, right? Okay, if you're 2-6, you're gonna risk your $40 million a year QB, an investment you could possibly flip, because if he gets hurt again, that's gone. You ain't trading that dude to anybody because nobody's waiting.
They're not playing
year.
him.
That's what
He
I'm
might
saying.
A first-round pick becomes a 3rd round, like really easy
Facts.
in the NFL.
But now you can get Kyler Murray. You can flip him for a first and probably a second, or a first and a dude of starting capability right now. Like you put Kyler Murray in Minnesota with Addison and JJ and TJ Hawkinson. Holy snikes. You're looking at spreading the ball around. That's instant offense at all times. Kyler Murray's problem is he's too small, and he has to sit in the shotgun the whole time, but he likes to run around, and that's what he's good at. If he can stay home a little bit more, right? I think he can stay a little more healthy, and that's just my main concern with Bryce Young. Same height, right? Same style QB. Murray was more of a running style, but mobile to extend plays in the pocket, whatever it may be. But Kyler Murray got like 25 pounds on Bryce Young. So that was always my concern with Bryce Young is when he gets blindsided, is he going to be able to pick himself back up again and shake off the dust and be able to throw? Or is he going to be, wheezing with that cracked rib hurting him and breaking down on his lungs?
Yeah, man. I think you covered a lot right there. I like it, but I don't know, man. So Kyler, how do we even get here? We're talking Drake May. We're talking
Arizona having 2 picks in the top 5.
I was just saying that Marvin.
Let's reel it back.
I think Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison to me sounds like a Cardinal. Like it sounds like a Cardinal to me. Like I forgot Marquise Brown was there too, because like you said,
Wilson,
man,
right? Trey McBride.
Yeah. Like to me right
Love
now, to me, I think more talking to Nino. Nino's probably right. Like you can get Caleb, Marvin Harrison, and then you have Marvin Harrison Jr., Marquise Brown, and Michael Wilson, who also I like, and then Trey McBride, who we forgot about. That's instant offense. and then they might have another top pick that you can get, your
Offensive
favorite
lineman.
defender. Yeah, offensive lineman, your favorite defender. Like that team's bad. It's best available at that point. Whoever is their guy, go draft on top of that. And then Jonathan Gannon is giggling his way home with a whole bag of new toys, So like to me that sounds good.
Team. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we got there. And then I guess we can go to Drake May, who sounds really good in an Atlanta uniform to me.
Yeah.
Like,
And then I'm going to piggyback off both of your things here. You said the captain don't matter, and you said Drake May in Atlanta. When your quarterback ain't the captain, that neon sign comes up to me. It's like almost guaranteed that the QB, whether it's year 1, year 41, year 101, your QB is the captain. Desmond Ridder's not the captain of that team. He's a rental.
When I say captain doesn't matter, it's in this reference. It's like right here with Kyler. Just because he's the captain doesn't mean he's playing this year. Is what I was kind of referencing.
Okay.
But with Ridder not being a captain, come on,
huge.
man.
It's huge.
They don't care about you, dude. Like,
No.
there's so many people in the Discord that are like Atlanta Falcon fans, diehards, and they're like, Ridder is our guy. Ridder's bringing us to this promised land, this and that. Ridder is not playing past this year if he does kind of good. You know what I mean? Like, if he's like, he has to be amazing to keep this job. Like, he doesn't like have to be like, he doesn't have any job security, and that's just how I see it. Like, there's no way that they don't draft over him if he puts up like a decent year. If he's like a back end QB2, I think he still has that. He's probably getting replaced kind of vibe.
Yeah, and it's like the 24 class is just as deep, if not deeper, than the 23rd is. Like especially like we got Jordan Travis looked really good. Shadur Sanders looked a lot better. So like you're looking at
Michael
Drake
Penix?
May.
Give me
Michael
Penix
Penix.
over Ridder.
Yeah, I mean, like to me, all these
Knicks,
guys,
all
I
that.
would rather have over Ritter. So like another thing we could talk about for Kyler, what if Atlanta trades for Kyler? Because all that we've said about Kyler and what his limitations are, still better than Desmond Ritter. Let's just it's right 100%. Now he's better than
absolutely
he's better than Desmond Ritter.
But now you're bringing in a guy like maybe Joe Alt or Fasciano from Penn State, or even my guy Christian Mahogany, and now your line is ferocious, bro, and they can protect your QB.
Yeah. I mean, hey, there's only a couple minor adjustments that you have to make to that team to actually be successful. I wouldn't say like a contender, but they could be like a really good perennial like playoff team. Yeah.
One might say any of these quarterbacks in this class and Kyler Murray, any of them, like any of them, like this year we only had 3, right. One could argue Will Levis, whatever, but we only had like 3 guys that we know were game changers. Right. And this next class, there could be a lot. And I guess like we've hammered at the top 3. We can get into the more like controversial stuff.
Give me Quinn Ewers over Desmond Ritter.
Well, we're about to get there. So we let's keep it going a little bit. So we did talk some Drake May. We did kind of cover Marvin Harrison Jr. Just to clarify a little bit, like get into this. So we did it with Caleb. Where do you have Marvin Harrison Jr. right now lined up to the NFL wide receivers? Like, where do you have him? Like, do you take him in the Garrett Wilson tier? Like that area? Yes. Like before Chris Olave?
Yes.
Maybe
Chris
after
Olave's in the same boat.
Yeah, I was about to say that's the same.
They're in the same boat. And if you don't have them in the same boat, I think you got to go back and watch a little more film.
All right. So Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, and Marvin Harrison Jr. What are you doing with these 3 guys? Let's just do a keep trade cut with these 3 guys right here. Like Marvin Harrison Jr., Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson. Keep trade cut. Jagger, you go first.
Keep Garrett Wilson because we just know we got the bird in the hand. I'm trading Marvin Harrison Jr. And then I'm cutting Chris Olave. And that is a sad cut. That's like hurts. The Wesley Snipes. That's the Wesley Snipes with the gun meme. I don't want to do this. And
kill my brother.
It's profiles, man. Marvin Harrison Jr. He's got it all. And like Chris Olave is very good, but he doesn't have the size. You know? Like that's just about it.
Yeah. I think
I've
that's
been
where
saying
I'm
something
at.
stupid
Yeah.
for a while, and I've been getting destroyed about it. And and people aren't listening to the words that I'm saying. They just hear things and they go up. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a better prospect right now than his old man was at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah,
How,
that's not.
how
I
is
don't think
that
that's
a
a
hot
hot take.
take?
I get
That's a
killed for
normal.
that. I get killed for that on X, man. People tell me I'm crazy. Marvin Harrison is I'm like, not when he finished in the NFL, coming out of college, bro. Like, come
Dude,
on.
tag me next time. Just hit me, Nerd Boy
All
takes.
right.
Put me on there, man. Let me get into this, dude.
Please.
Let me get into this action, please, because I want to
All
be
right,
involved.
I got you.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's normal. That should be like a common take because he did not have this kind of hype. He did not have this build up at all.
No.
Like at all.
And it's one of those things now in the NFL where like I don't think size matters as much as it does, but when you have it, it's really nice.
You can't teach. Hey, you can teach speed, right? You can teach him to catch,
Yeah.
but you can't teach size.
Nah, dude, that's what I'm saying. It's just like I said, I love Josh Downs. He can ball, but imagine if Josh Downs was 6'3". You know?
Oh man, yeah. You're looking at Reggie Wayne type dude. You know what I'm saying? Who could go up and get the ball. Reggie Wayne was a sniper, and he worked the middle because of his height.
Yeah. Yo, let's kick it over to the next guy. I think it's kind of cross the board. That's Emeka Ibuka. Is that how everyone sees it? You know, I think we flip flop for the last guy, but Emeka Ibuka feels like chalky pick for the 104 range. He is. I think there's some people that have him as like a comparable player to Marvin Harrison Jr.
He's
There's
right
some
there.
people out there. Like
He's
there's
right
there's
there.
not a huge difference. Like they have that same change of pace. They have that catchability. You know what I mean? Similar size. I think they do compare. If you're going to compare two wide receivers, like these two teammates right here are close, like they're neck and neck for me at least. I don't think there's the giant tier break that people kind of paint as far as like, okay, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Emeka Ibuka. I have them back to back.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys feel about that, but they're not that far away. And I think if one of them was not on the team, then I think like the other would be catapulted into like the stratosphere. So
yeah.
Where do you guys have Emeka? Let's just go into like where would you have him? So we had Marvin Harrison Jr. in that like Garrett Wilson tier. Is that exactly where we throw Emeka too? Like, do you think that? No, he's
AJ
back
Brown
farther.
tier.
So
He's
where's AJ Brown for you? Where's
CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Emeka Ibuka?
All right, so let's actually specify. Hold on. Is Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson ahead of AJ Brown and CeeDee Lamb for you? Or is he?
Yes.
God
for Dynasty.
damn, you guys.
For Dynasty.
Oh
We're talking
God.
Dynasty, right? Dynasty Degens.
We
right?
We are talking Dynasty. We're talking Dynasty right now. So you
Okay.
have him over CeeDee Lamb. You guys both have Garrett Wilson over CeeDee Lamb.
Facts.
And not even a hot.
I didn't have to think about that. That was like
man.
instant.
Let's
Dude,
put it this way.
I'm gonna flip.
Here's where I'm at.
I'm flipping the table. I'm flipping the table, man. I'm flipping it today, man. I'm not finishing the pot. I'm flipping it. No, go ahead.
And the football guys, in the football guys, redraft league, like I'm in there with like Christian and Kevin. I took Garrett Wilson as like a wide receiver 3 in redraft. Like I'm incredibly high on Garrett Wilson. Like I'm spicy. Like when I say I'm hot for the teacher, baby, it's up there. So Emeka Ibuka, though, for me, he's in like the JSN range right now, where we're taking JSN. Like that's where he is in Dynasty. Where like, let's say you're doing a startup and like either you're taking JSN as your wide receiver 2 or you're punting and you're kind of grabbing him as like your wide receiver 1 or early range. That's where I'm at with him. Where like I'm not ready to win now with Emeka Ibuka. And I do think landing spot kind of matters because like where Marvin Harrison, it doesn't matter. Where he's going to be a stud. Emeka Ibuka, he could be a wide receiver 1, like the modern one, you can move him all over. But I think he's more of like a slot guy than even more say JSN. And at least right now, like he could blow me away, but I'm just tempering my expectations for him. And again, the range I have him in is still really good. Like it's like I'm kind of just picking at him, you know.
Yeah, I would have maybe Jack is not in the same box as me, but I would put Ibuka around, and I'm high on St. Brown, but right now I kind of think he's like in that St. Brown tierish around that, like the way they play slot guys. You know what I mean? I think Ibuka's number 2 wide receiver in the whole country. All right, if Marvin Harrison didn't exist, it'd be Ibuka's show. But I think that's where he's at. And listen, we've seen Marvin Harrison do his thing, and we've seen Ibuka do their thing, right? But like Garrett Wilson did it with Mike White, a flaming bag of hot Cheetos, pretty much, right? And now he's getting Aaron Rodgers, right? For at least, I'm going to go out and say for at least 2 years. If Rodgers he's 37 or whatever he is, he's acting like he's 27. And he's already saying that he wants to do it for a little bit longer. He feels good. He loves Garrett Wilson. Him and Sauce Gardner got handshake, smoking pot. Like, they're doing their thing, okay? He's like a young kid again. He's going to be there. You put Garrett Wilson with an elite QB for a couple of years, yeah, my man's taking a step. I know you love CeeDee Lamb, but he's only pretty much progressed one season. Last year, he took the step. I got to see it a little bit more. I seen this dude take a step with nobody. CeeDee's had Dak the whole time. My man had Zach Wilson and Mike White, and he did his thing. So I got, and Flacco for that matter, who could barely get the ball 30 yards downfield anymore. And Wilson was out there dogging people.
I agree with that. I mean, I don't doubt that. I definitely have Wilson way up there, but I mean, you're talking about target competition is a thing. And you can't just say that's not a thing. When you're talking about somebody that's like sharing targets with Cooper and whoever else is on that team, Schultz, and there's, I don't even know who the wide receiver 2 of the Jets was last year. Like, you can't even tell me
Davis.
that
He's
they had
now.
Yeah, and like there was like a regular like rotation of maybe 3 guys that like were in and out of that
Crowder,
team. Was for the,
Denzel Mims, garbage.
None of these guys are even in the league anymore. Like when it comes
Who's
down
there
to it,
now? Cobb, Lazard, the best blocking.
he's
wide
not.
receiver
I
in
know.
football.
He's got great target competition, but when you're comparing the 2 players, it's like you throw Cooper and you throw these like guys on that team. Does he still have that like elite production? Because I mean, yeah, you saw some production that dipped a little bit and then went up and down, but like he's playing with like other, I would say Cooper's an alpha. He was definitely regarded as like one of the best prospects in the NFL when he came out. Like where that translates, not really, but he's still very good. So I mean, yeah, he took a jump,
right?
No, he took a jump last year because he was finally free of, you know what I mean? Like I don't even know who was the second wide receiver
Gallup
in that
was
team.
The second guy when he played.
Gallup
was
gone.
Healthy.
He was out, and there was like a influx of like really messy guys.
They had Turpin from the XFL in there, or USFL in there for a minute there. Gave on Turpin.
They were all over the place, but
he's got Cooks now, so target competition again.
I think I like that because Dalton Schultz, like, don't sneeze on that name. Like, he was definitely a big guy that was taking up like a lot of targets in the end zone, and he was getting his looks. But I like it. I don't know, man. I can't do it yet. You guys are on the opposite spectrum of me. I can't do it. CeeDee Lamb is my guy. I can't go there yet. Maybe I will next year.
AJ's my guy, and it takes me a lot to put him down.
Where do you have it? Like, let's get into this right now. So AJ Brown and Devonta, do you have, where do you have Devonta? If you have Amon Ra there, do you have Devonta close to Amon Ra, or do you have him?
Yeah, I would have Devonta in the next bracket down, like below
bracket
AJ.
Down.
Yeah, I think Devonta Smith is the best wide receiver too. I think Devonta Smith for me is better than T. Higgins.
I take him over T. Higgins. Yeah, for sure. I have him very high.
Yeah,
I've been tearing off. I own like 30 shares of AJ Brown, so I've been tearing off to get Devonta and a plus on top.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're getting a plus, but what are you getting for a plus? Are you looking for like a second rounder, or are you trying to get a person?
It depends. Like there's definitely a lot of trades. I got a 25 first and Devonta for AJ Brown, and then I got I got. Man, other trades. I got Waller. It was Devonta, Waller, and Godwin for AJ Brown and Brandon Cooks. So
Oh,
that
I like
was
that. I like that.
yeah. I'll
You
take
said
that on the win
Godwin.
now.
You said Godwin,
So,
right?
yeah, Godwin. Yeah,
So that
yeah,
triggers my brain because I'm gonna bring it back to Mbuka. That's where I see him falling to the Bucks.
yeah. I see that.
Mike Evans
I
is
could see the
probably his
Bucks.
last hurrah with the Bucks, and then you move Godwin to the outside. You let Mbuka play the slot, right? You got Palmer and Raheem Jarrett as the young guys there that are doing well. Now you got a receiving core again. I don't know who your quarterback's going to be. Maybe it'll be Quinn. Maybe it'll be Penix in the second round. Who knows? But there's a lot of options. I don't think Baker's going to be the guy, and we all know Kyle Trask ain't the guy.
See that like the Buccaneers are another one that I have in my Drake May watch because like to me they're or Kyler or something like
Kyler,
that.
yep.
They can't continue with their QB situation that they have right now at all. So
yeah, it's the Bucks, Falcons, and Minnesota for me for the QB outside of Caleb talk. I feel like it could be Kyler there, it could be Drake, it could be Quinn. I feel that was someone. I thought Quinn was a guarantee for New York. I think he just fit that thing, but then they gave the bag to Danny Dimes, so that's obviously out.
Yeah, you're talking about Quinn right now, and I know that's your next guy up on this list. I'm still on Travion Henderson, so I'm still in on him. You have him
7
way back, and yeah, okay, I get it. He's coming back from
pop.
injury, and
It's a year and
he flashed. He flashed, man. He's still. Dude, he showed me what he has. Like he showed me that he still.
When did he show you what he had? Because he didn't show it this week, and last year he was hurt, bro. That I haven't seen him show that pop out the hole like that year one. His freshman year, he came out. He was like, whoa. He was cutting you up out the hole. It didn't matter if it was the A to B gap. He would zone reads. It didn't matter. He did it all, and he could go out wide. But like, bro, he hasn't had that explosiveness since coming back from that injury, and other guys in the backfield have taken over.
Well, who are you talking about taking over? Like Mion and like that? I don't know, man. I can't see that that's going to stay the way it is. I don't.
Chip just outperformed him.
There's no way that I'm gonna take like what I saw in the last couple games to just like totally shift him way out of there. Like I'm not gonna take him and just like throw him out. That's recency bias to me. Like I can't just like say, okay, I don't like what I've seen the last 2 games, even after that incredible rookie year that he had. I can't just say like, oh, he's dead. I'm not going to say he's dead. I still have him like up there because nobody comes in as like a rookie, like a true freshman and pulls that. Nobody just does that. Like that's talent. That's incredible talent. So I can't get it there right now. I cannot just say.
Give me J.K. Dobbins vibes, bro, from the injury.
Okay.
That guy who's explosive, had that injury. He can still play, but he hasn't really lived up to that pop. And then, like, the thing for me is look at the guys behind him. Corum, Edwards, Raheem Sanders. Like, those dudes, Corum just came back from a huge injury and was out there, running the show. So that's where, like, for me, like, Benson and Travion dropped low because they're around less than 4 yards per carry.
Yeah. And we're going to revisit this because I don't think we're going to do all the content in one show. We're going to have to do 2 shows with this at some point in time because I love it. But like we're already like at 106 and we're like looking at an hour right now. I love it. But we're covering a lot right now. But yeah, I can't slide him so far down. And since we're talking about him, like where do you have him, Jagger? Are you still in on him? Or because remind me, Nino, where do you have? Is he completely off of your board when it comes?
I got him at the 202, right behind Edwards, Donovan Edwards from Michigan.
Yeah,
only because we're talking dynasty, right? And QB's a king, so I got 3 more QBs in the first round.
Yeah. We're gonna brush over that because I feel like that is it's the way to go. And I also don't know if we're going to see all these QBs get that because DC is ultimately like the deciding factor. But right now, while we're doing this, we're just talking about players that we think fit in right now. This is without the DC. This is without the projections as far as like where they're going to land and all that. And I agree with you that QB should be up there because in a super flex league, they are king, and that's exactly where they should be going. If they land in that spot and they're going to be starting in the NFL, no
Right.
doubt.
But, we'll look at my guy, Will Levis. He didn't get to DC, and he's now number 3 in Tennessee, just chilling, eating mayo.
And it sucks, man, because I had him up there for a little while. I had him down for a little while. I had him back up again, and it was like that DC is the ultimate factor when it comes to a quarterback.
Right.
I hate to be like a DC snob, but wait, Jagger, before we jump, where do you have Travion?
I honestly, I'm fading him a little bit because I like we already have Raheem Sanders up there, but I'm really pushing Trey Benson up my board, and I'm still pretty high on Braylon Allen. That I like over Travion Henderson. And I remember Jeff Bell was talking about this on maybe a group chat or something or Twitter, but that they're kind of splitting that backfield a little bit in Ohio State. And that's kind of a concern because they've generally just kind of had a bell cow. And just like Nino was saying, is it the knee? We don't know. And he seems like a guy that we're going to kind of keep high a little bit like Zach Evans or some of these running backs.
Perfect.
And then he's going to get drafted 5th round, and we're wondering what the hell happened. Do
Oh
I like
my
Travion
God.
Henderson? Yeah, but at the end of the day, I need to. I have to see more, and you got to ask me again probably week 4 or 5, and then after that, if he doesn't get more snaps, I got to fade him.
Yeah. Hey, you said, "Oh my God, Mike," but look at a year ago before Judkins had ever took a snap for Ole Miss. People had Zach Evans in the top 3 running backs, right?
For sure. I had Zach Evans way up there. And I'll be the first one to say that Zach Evans was my guy. I still love Zach Evans, dude. I still am on Zach Evans where he's at. I don't care. But yes, you're right. And I will not say that Zach Evans ever came out the way that Travion came out. So I can't say that that's a comparison that I'm going to agree with. Dude, he had one of the best freshman seasons that I can remember in the last 5 years, 7 years, whatever you want to call it. And it doesn't happen like that. You don't just lose it. You don't just all of a sudden fade out into Zach Evans never had that year.
It happened to Kayshon Boutte. Then let's talk about another one then. Let's not do a position to position comparison. Kayshon Boutte, a phenomenal freshman season, and then just never was able to replicate it. Zach Evans, it wasn't so much play style, because Zach Evans had other problems outside.
He's a head case. He can't listen to nobody.
Exactly. But I meant someone that's been a Devi darling who we can't ever get off of, even though that there's every sign that says that we should
go away.
Wait, so that's where you guys are both at though. You're comparing Travion Henderson to Kayshon Boutte. You're talking about the
he's using
drop
the
off. He came off of a significant injury. He came back and now he's under 4 yards a carry. And all of a sudden he's off of your big board completely.
Well, I seen last year 107 attempts, dude. And he just got to 5 yards per carry. Just got to that. So it's not
and it's not off my big board. I'm just saying that this class is so deep that I can just I can fade him and feel really good. We were talking about, we're talking about Will Shipley. If Will Shipley's in the right system and he gets 3rd round draft capital, that's to the moon, baby. Cause you got that PPR upside, that's where I'm at. I'm just saying that Travion Henderson right now carries a lot more risk than other prospects that I really like, if that makes sense.
Look at Spiller.
But you guys mentioned Raheem, the Rocket.
Yeah,
brother, he looks like Eddie Lacy right now. He looks
but
but he
didn't lose any speed. He's still got 4.5 speed.
Oh my God, dude, he looks like a chunker, man. He's coming in.
242.
He's so inefficient. 242 at a running back position is insane, dude.
That's pretty big, dude.
I don't think he should be that big at all.
Huge.
I'm not fat shaming him at all, but he should not be that big.
They said he's not fat. The coach said that they can't even pull the skin on him.
dude, I don't believe that. I'm
Hey,
gonna pull the skin myself. I want to see the video. I want to see the TikTok and then pulling the skin. Dude, he was so bad. He had the 2 touchdowns, but like he wasn't good either. Like I don't know why you guys are like, oh, like Travion
because
Henderson was not efficient, but like
it's not just one
dude,
game. Last year,
Rocket was not good this last game at all.
he had 2 touchdowns.
And-
Okay, but the only guy that was good on Arkansas was KJ Jefferson. He was doing it all on his own, running and throwing.
But you
Right?
guys aren't slipping him at all in your rankings because
I'm not slipping Henderson because of this week. I'm slipping Henderson for what I've seen for the past 9 months. Last year was the same situation. He barely broke 5 yards per carry in a running back by committee with 2 guys. This year it's 3 guys, and the better Trey in week 1 was Chip Travenon or whatever his name is. He was the dude who had the most yards. There is no competition for Sanders. He's coming off a 1,000-yard season last year with the return in the offensive line and a QB. He's in the perfect system. Sanders is a bigger back, obviously, who doesn't have competition for carries and isn't coming off injury. I'm not worried about one game. I'm not worried about one game of Henderson. I'm looking at the spectrum of the last 9 months.
yeah, I see that, but like you're talking about players like we're talking maybe the trajectory of Saquon Barkley or like somebody coming off of a significant injury, and we need to see that. You're not going to judge them off of that last year. We're talking about this year, and we're talking about what we see from this year after that. So I don't want to like judge on him the year coming back from injury, like when
Look
it
at
comes to
Corum.
significant injury. I know, but Corum came back different. And
What do you mean? He came back the same. He was out there doing his thing.
No, Corum is different though. I don't know why he's different, but like you can't just go case to case.
I'm
No,
looking at the
I
same
love
thing, knee
I love
injury.
Corum. Corum
You know what I
came back
mean?
with the same thing. I get it, but like it's like you can't just go. Not everyone is like the same cut of cloth, and I get that. Like it's not like
It's
I
his
can be completely
explosiveness to me.
judgmental.
He doesn't have that pop. That freshman year, dude, he was popping. He would put his foot in the ground, make one cut, and leave a linebacker or a safety in the dust coming out the hole.
And you don't think he's going to come back with that?
I haven't seen it in 4 games, 4 solid games of him. I haven't seen it.
What is he, 20 years old? I think he could easily get that back. He's a young buck. Like
I need to see it though before I put him in there in the first round of a dynasty draft.
Oh, I'm not fading him yet. I'm not going there. And
I like Benson too, but he got a lot of hype. He put on 15 pounds and he was at 3-point-something yards per carry in that offense, but they didn't need to run the ball. They could do whatever they wanted. And Jordan Travis was just lighting up LSU.
Yeah.
So.
And we touched on this a lot. We're talking about this a lot. We could go back and forth about this all day. We talk about who's fading what and what's going on. But like you have Keon way up there. And let's talk about Keon before we sign off, because Keon is like a riser and a half. We were going to get into like risers and fallers and all that. Keon's a riser. Keon is like, man, I can't put him up there yet. I cannot, even though I love everything that I saw from him. I love his radius. I love like his high point catches. I love everything he's doing. He's going in, he's calling his catch. He's like, dude, he's like, when he called that's
catch, cerebral, like, man. Did you see
when he was like,
before?
Give me this catch? I
the
was
play
like,
before
oh
they
my
ran
God.
the same style play. And Major Burns was lost, bro, in the coverage. Lost. And they were rushing to get back. So you see him go, yo, up top. And the next play they went up top. The ball was underthrown. If the ball was led, it would have looked so much better because it would have been like a tiptoe catch in the corner of the end zone in front of Burns instead of him having to come back to the ball. But it's not even that. Look at the 3rd touchdown. Like he burnt the dude in the route, right? And you see the dual sport athlete, the box. He boxed out 90% of the defenders. His big body, his length, they can't get around him. He has good positioning. He knows where to put himself. His hands are stupid. And he's physical. You can put a body on him, and he's not just going to the ground. He can break tackles. To me, Coleman put himself after this week. He was in Michigan State last year, right? With a young Thorne, pretty much, right? Now Thorne's developed, and he's in Auburn. But now he's with a dude that's ready to take that step and has got a howitzer for an arm. Coleman stepped up into that top 3 bracket for me. And that's with another dude on there, Wilson. He took Johnny Wilson's lunch and ate it right in front of him.
I know.
Yeah.
He like made Johnny Wilson look bad. Yeah.
Yeah. And it, like to me, like I just got to see more. He's on, like I said, he's on my radar. and I'm big on route running. And if that dude he has to have, like, to me, to be good, he has to have a slightly better route tree than DK Metcalf, and that is a low bar. That is
he ran 3 routes, bro. 3, right?
Yeah. It's like if he can run a clean out, like if this dude's running zigs, top 2, baby.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's got that talent, and now he's in an offense that's going to put him in that position because they got playmakers all over the field.
Yeah, I loved what I saw from him. I watched that tape through and through. I watched it about 3 or 4 times. Specifically, I watched him. Like, I broke down all of his catches, all of his, like everything that he did. And he's an alpha all day. And like I know they dropped the bag on him at Michigan State. Like, they definitely messed up bad.
But they didn't drop the bag. That's the problem. They didn't drop the bag.
Yeah, so to speak. Like, they fumbled the bag, if you will.
That first touchdown showed all of his assets in one thing, right? He was on the outside. He made a quick instep move, right? Got in front of the defender, caught the ball, and you saw the athleticism. Jigged the dude, jigged another dude, took his speed to take the right angle to get the outside, and then he beat the defender for the touchdown. You just saw 4 phases of his game in one play against 3 different defenders. After that, I was locked in. I had the popcorn. I'm like, this kid's it.
Yeah. So if we see this kid show this type of stuff, if he develops his, like, route tree a little bit, like if he just gets a little bit more diverse with his routes, is he going to be like the wide receiver 3 of this class? Like, all of a sudden,
so.
Just
Yes.
boom, like he's the wide receiver 3.
Jaggers with me, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure,
like,
right? Like, he has to be.
Like, to me, wide receiver is, at least right now, like 2023 surprised us, it's pretty shallow, in my opinion. So like I have a lot of questions about Xavier Worthy as, like, an all-around wide receiver. Like to me, it's right now it's Keon White's to lose. Like as far as like who's a wide receiver 3. And I know it's week 1, but LSU's not a chump team. Like, Malik Neighbors, I'm not really all in on him. Like, Malik Neighbors, I think that we like him so much because we were so disappointed in Booty. Like at least me, like I just got to see more. I got to see more Neighbors. So.
I'll give you that. I got to see more. But what I see, I don't know if you guys are, were a fan of him, but I get like Justin Blackman vibes, right? You put a little bit more size on him, the way he's physical, right? Physical at the line of scrimmage. He wasn't against Florida State. He was checked out. Like, I don't know what happened there, but that was a demeaning loss. I think he was definitely not expecting that. He was blindsided by that. I think that whole team was just, like, defeated, Like, but he's a physical dude who he lines up mostly out wide, but he can win it to, highest catch point, 50-50 balls. You're not going to punk him at the line of scrimmage. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like Neighbors. I think Neighbors and Coleman are the 2 guys that kind of separate themselves from the rest of the jumble-eyed wide receivers.
So you have Neighbors way ahead of Worthy? Is that how you're at right now? Like,
his size, man. Worthy's a one-trick pony for me, right? He's just a speedster, and he's a slot guy. He's just super small. What's he weigh? 168, 170? Like, that's tiny.
Yeah, he's like
he's, like I said, he's incredibly small.
Yeah, he's a
you gotta give me Tank Dell. I gotta see Tank Dell out of you. You know what I mean? I need to see Kadarius Toney separation at the line of scrimmage.
What are we talking about? Addison is incredible. Addison is like, but what is he, like, 170? Addison 180 maybe.
All right, Addison's route tree stupid. He's got that.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong. Addison is elite. If you're talking Addison, I am the biggest Addison guy that you're going to talk to right now. Like, he is incredible. Absolutely incredible.
First round pick.
Yeah, he made Kenny Pickett who he was. If you watch Kenny Pickett tape, it's Jordan Addison. And it's like, oh, Addison, get the catch. Oh, to Addison. Whoa, Addison on the slant route. Oh, Addison. Like, it's like everything is Addison when you watch Kenny Pickett tape. But he's like a little guy. But I don't think Worthy's going to ever develop into what Addison is. So
you're gonna see Worthy.
You can be small this week. Yeah, you can be small. But you have to have a lot more skills than Worthy has,
I think he's sexy Tutu Atwell.
Tutu Atwell? Yeah, okay.
Damn. He's sexy Tutu Atwell.
Yeah.
Tutu guy coming out of college, and he has a bubble. Listen, all this bubbling and hype about where he's going to get shut down when he faces Kool-Aid this week in Alabama.
I want to see that lineup. I want to see that matchup. I can't wait, dude. I'm excited. I'm excited for this week. Like we're going to talk a little bit more. We definitely went overtime, and we didn't even get halfway through this show. So that's good.
I'm ready when you are. You let me know I'm back.
Yeah. I think we're going to have a continuation of the show and cover the second half. And we might have to do that on top of, man, I'm trying to think in my head, spitball this a little bit. Maybe in like a couple weeks, we'll just get this going. I'll reach out to you and we'll get you back on, and we'll just do like a nice, like, whatever 45-minute show and cover the rest of this and get into the risers, fallers. And I want to just collaborate with you too, man, and get more shows going and have fun with it. So,
you got it. I tell you all the time. I tell everybody, I'm always open to anything. I'm willing to do any guest appearances. I'm down for the cause, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you're a fun guest, dude. Why don't you plug whatever you have coming up? Like, let us know, let everyone know what you're working on and what you have coming up.
I just dropped my CFB Prime episode with my buddy Kyle. We're talking about all Auburn stuff this week, talking about them facing Jaden Ott and how they're going to stop that elite run game. I got another show coming, IDP wise, head to head. You can find those on at CFB Nation and at Towards the Titles. And then to close out the week, I do my P2P, which is pretty much just we're breaking down key matchups and the guys that we think are going to be studs in those matchups weekly.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you, Jagger. What do you have coming out, brother? Let everyone know what you're doing.
It's the usual stuff, man. I'm pumping out shorts and making people giggle. So just see me on Twitter.
I gotta say, I love you, Mikey, but Jagger's like this is his persona on like social media in general, man. He, like I said, he's a smooth criminal. He's the Mike Jack of the X.
Yeah, I know. There's no offense taken, man, because I'm with you, man. That's my guy. That's my boy.
I love what both you guys do. I respect both of you guys, and if people need to just follow you guys more, because what you guys do is A1.
Hey, we appreciate you, everyone. If you're not following them, follow at Nino Brown @_T2T. Next week we actually are doing a collaboration with Dynasty Hour. So Jagger, you and I with Chuck, we're going to be doing, we haven't even figured out the show sheet yet, but we're going to do something crazy. We're going to have a little party with it. We're going to have a fun show. So we're looking forward to that. So thank you for tuning in. Like I said, part 2 is going to be dropping in the near future. And shout out to Nino Brown for joining us. And thank you. We'll see you next week.
Awesome.
This is the edit right here.
Yeah, the revolution, y'all. Yeah, the revolution.
The revolution, y'all, will not be televised.
Yeah, you gotta wake up, open your eyes,
Make a change in your life,
and find a new way of living.
It's time to start living for the children.
Everybody look into my life. Tell me what you see. The perseverance of a young man sitting is so free. LA Mac, be the champ, but still fighting the struggle. They couldn't shut my mouth with a muzzle. I'm hard to figure like a puzzle. My name ought to be Jigsaw. Rough around the edges, I've been known to spit raw. Always with a pen in